I had no idea what that innocent smile was going to cost me. In just 2 weeks, my entire holiday budget was gone. And my dignity too, Craig told me that night. The disappointment was still there in his eyes. I never thought I'd be fooled like this, he added. I'm a smart bloke. I'm an engineer. I understand numbers. I plan things. And still, I walked straight into the trap. Hello, I'm Adam, your retired mate here in Southeast Asia. Today, I'm going to tell you a story. A story that took place in Cham. It was a quiet evening. I was sitting in my hotel lobby, having my evening coffee. All I could hear, in the distance, was the sound of the waves. That was the night I met Craig, Australian, 55 years old, a successful engineer. He'd flown in from Perth to enjoy what he thought would be the holiday of his life, but he would leave this place under very different circumstances. Empty-handed, confidence shattered, pride broken. Craig shook his head slowly. The worst part, mate, he said, is that my friends were right. They warned me, and I didn't listen. Sometimes, even the best advice from your mates isn't enough. There are lessons in this story, for all of us. If you're ready, let's hear this lesson in his own words. My name's Craig. I'm 55 years old. I'm from Perth, Australia. I worked as an engineer for nearly 30 years. Last year, my wife and I got divorced. I figured it was time to give myself a gift. A proper one. That dream holiday was finally going to happen. My 22-year marriage had ended. I was 55, and I felt completely alone. Margaret and I had been together since university. We never had kids. Our life had become nothing but work and routine. Sure, my career was solid. I was a project manager at a large construction firm in Perth. I had decent savings, but inside, I felt empty, worn out. The divorce process was brutal. Lawyers, court, splitting assets. Margaret and I didn't hate each other. The truth is, the love was just gone. What was left was habit. Same breakfast every morning, same TV shows at night. Nothing spontaneous, nothing exciting. My mates kept saying the same thing. Dave and Mark especially. Craig, mate, they said, it's time you had a bit of fun. Enjoy yourself. You've spent your whole life working, home, work, home. Now it's your turn to actually live. Dave had just come back from Thailand. He couldn't stop talking about it. Mate, it's paradise. You'll see when you get there. But Dave also had some serious warnings. Craig, he said, grabbing my arm, be careful with the girls over there, mate, especially bar girls. They'll clean you out before you even realize what's happened. Mark and Tony said the same thing. Protect your money. Don't trust anyone straight away. And whatever you do, don't give any girl money in the first week. Honestly, I didn't take them seriously. It even annoyed me a bit. I'm 55 years old, mate. I told them, I'm not some kid. I've got life experience. What do you think I am, naive? I don't get scammed easily. I'd never cheated on Margaret. I've always been a straight shooter. Dave tried again. Mate, I thought exactly the same, he said. But over there, it's different. You get sucked in, without even noticing. I brushed it off completely. Thailand seemed like the perfect choice. Sun, sea, cheap living, maybe even a fresh start. Pattaya felt too busy. Bangkok was chaos. Chiam looked calmer, quieter, more my pace. What I didn't know was this. Ignoring my mate's warnings would turn out to be the biggest mistake of my life. I landed at Suvarnabhumi Airport. I'll never forget that excitement. The first day was brilliant. I swam in the hotel's massive pool, had breakfast on the beach, soaked up the sun, walked along the shore in the evening. It was exactly what I'd imagined. On the third night, I went to a beach bar near my hotel. A mate had recommended it. It was different from the others. Calmer, classier. No loud music, no aggressive girls grabbing you. That's where I noticed her. Nim. She was 28, and she wasn't like the other bar girls at all. Sure, she was attractive, but it was her manner that stood out. She didn't rush over, didn't cling to me. She was sitting on the other side of the bar, just smiling from a distance. When I walked over, we started talking. Her English was good, and most importantly, she wasn't constantly asking for drinks. She didn't seem interested in spending my money at all. "I work here, Craig," she said after learning my name, "but you don't need to spend money on me." That first night we just talked. That was it. Her story sounded genuine. Her family was from Chatham. She'd studied business at university in Bangkok. Couldn't find a job after graduating. So she came back home and started working at the bar. Never married, no kids, living with her parents. She asked me lots of questions. What I did for work, why I came to Thailand, if I was married, how the divorce went, whether I had children, what life in Australia was like. That attention really got to me. Margaret hadn't asked me questions like that in years. Nim seemed genuinely interested in my life. "How are houses in Australia? Do you see your family often? Is Perth cold?" It felt good. Someone actually cared. The second night, I went back to the same bar. When Nim saw me, her face lit up. "Craig, you came back," she said, genuinely excited. This time we left the bar. We walked along the beach. She didn't hold my hand, didn't kiss me, didn't push anything. We just walked side by side, talking. That respectful distance made her even more appealing. On the third day, we went out for dinner, a nice seafood place by the water. When I reached for the bill, she stopped me. "No, Craig, I'll pay," she said firmly. "You're a guest here. I'm local. Let me look after you." That completely threw me. At that moment, Dave's warnings, Mark's advice, Tony's concerns, they all vanished from my mind. On the fourth day, she took me to meet her family. Her mom, her dad, her younger brother. They were warm, friendly, and no one asked for money. No one hinted at gifts. It just felt like a normal family. By then, I was fully hooked. Dave's "be careful," Mark's "don't trust," Tony's "don't give money," all gone. Her dad didn't speak English, but he welcomed me with a smile. Her mom had cooked Thai food. "Craig, welcome family," she said. That warmth hit me hard. This girl really is different. I kept telling myself. My mates got it wrong. Not every bar girl in Thailand is the same. A full week had passed. We were seeing each other every day. Morning walks on the beach, lunch together, evenings talking at the bar. She started coming to my hotel too. Still respectful, still keeping her distance. "I'm not a bar girl, Craig," she'd say. "I just work there to earn money. My dream is to open my own business." On the 8th day, she made a small request. "Craig, I'm really embarrassed, but my phone credit ran out. Could you lend me a little money?" She asked for 500 baht, about $15. "I'll pay you back tomorrow. I promise." Of course I gave it to her. The way she hesitated made it feel genuine. The next day, she didn't mention the money. I figured she'd forgotten. It was a tiny amount anyway. 2 days later, she asked for 1,000 baht. "I need to buy food for my family. My dad's salary hasn't come through yet." Again, I gave it to her. No hesitation. She looked genuinely ashamed. "I never ask anyone for money, Craig, but my family is really struggling." Something small stirred inside me. Doubt, maybe. But the heart's a funny thing. It drowns out the voice of logic. These are small amounts, I told myself. If she really needs help, what's wrong with that? On the 11th day, Dave called me from Australia. I was walking along the beach when my phone rang. "Morning, mate. How's it going? Sun, beach, all that? Hope you're staying away from the girls." "Dave," I said confidently, "I'm seeing someone, but she's different. She doesn't ask for money. She even pays for things sometimes." "Craig," he shouted. "Mate, don't be an idiot. That's how it always starts. They build trust first." "You don't get it, Dave." I snapped. "I met her family. They're good people." "Craig, please listen," he said seriously. "No one asks for big money in the first 2 weeks. They wait, then they hit you hard." Mark went through the same thing in the Philippines. I could hear the worry in his voice, but I was convinced he was wrong. On the 13th day, Nim seemed different. Anxious, red eyes, on the verge of tears. "Nim, what's wrong?" I asked. That night, I had no idea how much my life was about to unravel. "Craig, please help me," she said, crying. My hands started shaking. "My mum was taken to hospital today. Heart problems. It's serious." Doctors say she needs emergency surgery. She told me her mom had collapsed with chest pain. An ambulance took her to a private hospital in Bangkok. Blocked arteries. Emergency bypass surgery. The cost, 50,000 baht. Her family had only managed to gather 15,000. Public hospital might be too slow, she said. They said it could be too late. The private hospital wants cash up front. 50,000 baht, about 1,500 US dollars. Most of my remaining holiday budget. Craig, please lend me the money. I'll pay you back in 2 weeks. My dad has land in Bangkok. He'll sell it. I can even sign a document. She showed me a photo on her phone. An older woman in a hospital bed, wires on her chest, breathing tube. This is my mom, she said. She's really bad. Doctors say it's urgent. The photo looked real. How does the hospital accept payment? I asked. Cash only. Thai baht, no credit cards in emergencies. Every alarm bell inside me was screaming, but her tears, the photo, the story. All right, Nim, I said quietly. I'll help. Your mom will be okay. The next morning, I went to the ATM. Daily withdrawal limit, 20,000 baht. I took out the first amount and gave it to her. I'll come back tomorrow and the day after. For the rest. Oh, Craig, you're like an angel, she said, hugging me tightly. My mom thanks you so much. Second day, another 15,000 baht. She was over the moon, constantly thanking me, saying her mom was stable. Third day, I went to withdraw the final 15,000. My stomach was in knots. Dave's words echoed in my head. Standing at that ATM, I knew something felt wrong, but I couldn't turn back now. When I handed over the last money, she hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. You saved my family, Craig. My mom will want to meet you. That evening, I noticed something strange. Her phone kept ringing. She stepped away to answer. Who's calling? I asked. The hospital, my dad, updates, she replied. Vague. The next day she texted me. Mom is improving, Craig. Surgery was successful. Thank you so much. I'm at the hospital. I'm exhausted. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow came, then the next day, then the next. Nothing. Her phone was off. No replies. She wasn't at the bar. She doesn't work here anymore, they told me. On the fifth morning, I went to the beach bar, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Nim was there, sitting with a bald, overweight German bloke. In his 60s, he was holding her hand, arm around her shoulders. I walked straight up to them. Nim. She looked at me coldly, like she barely knew me. Oh, hi, Craig. How are you? She said, casually. How's your mom? Is she out of hospital? Oh, she's fine. Very good. Thank you. When are you paying the money back? Did your dad sell the land? What money? She laughed. The German man said something in German. Nim laughed with him. He says you're very naive, she translated. Very naive, man. Then she looked straight at me. You were just an ATM for me, Craig. Now my friend Hans is here from Germany. Find your fun somewhere else. But your mum? The surgery, I stammered. What mum? She laughed. You really are naive, Craig. I didn't sleep that night. The next day I went to the hotel reception. I explained everything. The young Thai staff member looked sympathetic, but not surprised. Sir, we hear this story a lot, he said gently. Sick mother is a very old one, very common. Nim's mother actually passed away 2 years ago. Everyone here knows. He shook his head sadly. Last week an Englishman came with the same story. Sick father. You can report it to the police, but nothing will happen. The last 3 days of my trip were hell. No money left, no self-respect left. I canceled everything. Spa bookings, boat tours, restaurant reservations. I barely left my room, just stared at the walls. When I got back to Australia, Dave met me at the airport. One look at my face, and he knew. Mate, how much? He asked quietly. 50,000 baht, I said, ashamed. Bloody hell, Craig. But he didn't say, I told you so. That's real friendship. When Craig finished his story, he sat there silently. You know what I regret most? He said softly. Not the money. I regret not listening to my mates. They wanted to protect me. But I trusted myself too much. Dave was right, he continued. They don't ask for money in the first week. They build trust. Then they go for the big hit, and that's where Craig's story ends.